If I spoke slang to orangutans, the advantages any fool on earth could plainly see. Discussing Eastern art and dramas with...
And we are back. Great music, Jim. Thank you. We are talking with an animal communicator, Nancy Windheart. So nice to have you on Morning Scramble.
It's great to be here.
So you are able to communicate with all kinds of animals. And again, you know, what are the issues that you deal with when you're talking with animals a lot?
Well, a lot of people call me for help with problems that they're having, obviously. So that could be anything from behavior issues to training problems. I work with show animals and, you know, and regular animals who are just in regular obedience training, that kind of thing. And then also helping people understand their animal's perspective if their animal's sick and they're having to make a decision about a course of treatment, end of life, a lot of those kinds of situations that are very, very, very deep and very heartfelt.
Well, it's very tough. You know, I think you mentioned, you know, end of life. I think for me, as a pet owner, that can be the most difficult time of all.
Yeah.
Because you have an animal who may be very sick, or you know they're not going to last a long time. And because we have the option of euthanasia, unlike with humans, unless you're in Oregon or somewhere, you know, you have to make that decision. And that is a tough, tough call. Maybe the animal's not ready to go, or maybe they need to and you can't let them go. Have you had experiences with that?
Yeah, many, many experiences. And it's such a poignant and heartfelt time for both the person and it can be also for the animal also. And so that's where it can be really helpful to get the animal's perspective, to help the person understand what the animal wants, how they're feeling. Is it too much for them? Or are they okay for a while, you know? And to help people through that whole process. It's usually a series of conversations that we have along that journey to know what the right decision is for both the person and the animal and what the right timing is.
Well, Steph, I will fess up. I had a personal experience. That's how I met you. I adopted this rescue cat, big, wonderful Maine Coon, and his person had died. And so I took him in. He was just a wonderful guy, but he had so much fur. I didn't realize for a while, because I free feed, that he wasn't eating. He had lost about half his body weight. And I was desperate. What do I do with him? What's wrong with him? Is this, you know? And so I did call you, and you talked to me over the phone about Captain Morgan, that's what I called him, about Morgie. And that was a very helpful thing, because I didn't know whether to intervene, and because you can feed a cat otherwise, you know, they put a tube in the neck, and the vet assured me it doesn't bother cats at all. But talking to you was very helpful to know where Morgan was coming from and what he needed and what his wishes were, if you will.
Right, and I remember that very clearly. I remember him, and he was very clear that he was willing to have that intervention. He just needed some help getting over the hump, and he was going through a lot of emotional stuff, as I recall, at that time, that he just needed to move through and talk about and let you know about. And once that happened and he got the jump start that he needed, you know, with the veterinary help, he made a good recovery.
Well, and it was totally worth it, and you were a great comfort to me, because I do love my animals. Having no children, they tend to be my fur babies. And he's a great guy. We fed him with a tube for a while. He instantly was able to get over his liver problems, and off we went.
Off you went, and here he is. I'm so glad about that.
It worked so well. Well, you also do animal Reiki. And what is that?
I do. Reiki is a form of energy healing, and it is helpful for stress reduction, relaxation, and it can also promote healing. And it's a very, very gentle modality that animals tend to really, really respond to. And so it can be used with animals even if they're not comfortable being touched. You can do it off their body or even at a distance. And I teach Reiki also to people and teach them how to use it with their animal friends and with humans, but since the animals are my work, I tend to focus on that.
And this horse here, this fellow, or gal. I don't know.
He's a boy. Yeah. This is my friend Avin. He lives with a friend of mine in Cottonwood, and he in this picture is receiving Reiki, and you can see he's in what we call a Reiki nap. He's just very, very deeply relaxed and really, really enjoying.
And so that's part of the healing.
It's part of a healing. Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, and you have not only talked with the animals, but you've swum with the animals. You swam with them, I suppose, with the dolphins and the whales.
And the whales, yeah. The cetaceans are one of my great loves.
Wonderful.
And I've spent time in the water with them. It's a huge privilege and life-changing.
And they talk to you too.
They do.
They seem more wanting to talk to humans than perhaps other species.
There are many of them who have a very, very powerful and strong mission to connect with people. And so they do that freely and willingly and very, very benevolently and lovingly.
Wonderful. Okay, and people can get a hold of you, and you can help them with issues with their animals.
Yes. Yes,
Wonderful.
absolutely. And I also teach classes and help people to learn how to do this for themselves.
Well, yes, and you're a master yoga teacher as well.
I wouldn't say I'm a master yoga teacher,
okay.
I am a yoga teacher, and my yoga practice is really important to me.
Nancy Windheart, animal communicator, fabulous talking with you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me,
today.
Sandy.
All right, we're going to take a little break.